Music has always been such a big part of who I am. You know, it's in my bones, it's in my blood. I tried to take a break. You know, I gave it a lot for a long time, traveling and putting myself out there and putting music out there and trying different ways of making money, and I got burnt out, tried to focus on my professional career, but you know, there were things about music that I missed so much. There were things I didn't miss and still don't miss at all, but there were also things, just the creative part. I don't know if I intentionally blocked it out. It never left me, but I tried to avoid it for a little while, and for whatever reason, the inspiration came back, and man, it just feels good to be plugged back in again, be reconnecting with people that were a part of that, part of my life before, and just being creative again, man. It feels really good. When I stepped away from music, I thought I was going to leave behind the aspect of what it turned into, what I allowed it to turn into, which was making it a business. When I first set out to be a professional musician, it was all about songwriting and performing. Along the way, I was very fortunate to be offered opportunities to perform a lot of times, and I compromised a lot as far as the types of performances that I wanted to do. And so what I thought I was leaving behind was the compromise. It ended up being a long-term distance, which there are parts of me that regret, but also I want to own where I'm at right now, what I've learned, and who I've become, and who I am because of what's happened over the past 10 years, and I want to put that into music. Was I right as far as what I thought I was leaving behind? Yes and no. Because I played a restaurant gig last night, and that's what I wanted to leave behind, but here we are. But you know, it's allowing me to play again. It's allowing me to get my voice back in shape. It's allowing me to get my chops back up on the guitar. So I still have a choice in that, right? Like, I'm not relying on that to be my business, be my income, be part of my persona as a musician. When I decided to step away from music, I was really intentional about focusing on a professional career path. But in a lot of ways, I was starting over even in that way. So I've learned a lot professionally, but in the past 10 years, I've lost my father, I've lost my mother, I've been engaged and then not engaged. I fell in love again, fell out of love again, and I've done a lot of work on myself, a lot of therapy, a lot of medication journeys. That's all showing up today. It's obvious in the songs, in the new writing. My greatest hope is that it's obvious in my day-to-day and my interaction with other people. And people change every day, but you know, imagine how much change happens over 10 years if you're being intentional about change. Proud of where I'm at. I'm still not perfect. For me, the meaning of this life is all about evolution and growth, and that's been my mentality over the past 10 years. I think the version of me today that wasn't capable, it's really about articulation. So I think 10 years ago, I wasn't capable of articulating a lot of things that I felt back then, but I am now capable of articulating, if that makes sense. So a lot of growth has happened. There was a lack of emotional maturity back then in a lot of ways. Not to say that I was some dummy. I mean, I was, but I was very much growing spiritually and emotionally, and trying to understand why I felt the way I did about a lot of things. In the work that I've been doing on that, I've also learned how to articulate that, and so I feel a lot more confident about putting those thoughts to words. The most uncomfortable truth, I should say truths, on this album. My battle with alcoholism is one of those. It's been an ongoing journey for quite some time now. and another aspect of growth in my life that I do talk about. Another uncomfortable truth is how for me personally as a man, how fear shows up in my life. And for me, a lot of times that looks like anger. But what it is a weakness and an insecurity and a fear internally that I portray as anger. And there's some ownership that I've had to account for in my past relationships, and there's a lot of that in this new album. You know, I was afraid that trying to come back after 10 years would be a lost cause because so much has changed. You know, for a musician, social media is such a tremendous part of what we do and how we put ourselves out there. And so much has changed with that in the past 10 years. And I've kind of been disconnected from it, other than like my personal life. So I think there's been some fear around how I make myself relevant again. The response just recently has been so sweet and overwhelming and has moved me in a way that I'm just so grateful that people still remember, you know, who I am, what I did, and appreciated what I did. You know, that's helped a lot as far as creating some confidence in putting new stuff out there. With this new album, there's some vulnerability there that has not been present in my writing in the past. So I hope people are open to it. A lot of my music in the past was this kind of funky, soulful, with a touch of reggae thing. This new album is much more singer-songwriter focused, and it's more about the lyrics and the words and the life that's happened that moved me to a point of wanting to share it. So the new album is called Sunflower. The name comes from kind of a pet nickname that I had for my ex-girlfriend. This is the first album that I've ever written about one person. And it's, you know, I didn't set out to do that. About a year ago, this person came back into my life and this newfound inspiration came and I started writing again. I wrote a few songs in a few days. And so 3 of the songs were written during the course of our relationship. 4 of the songs were written after the relationship ended. It's a much more, you know, this album is focused on emotion and lyrics and experience. And but there's one song that I'm on the fence about including. It's more like the old Crane stuff, but it's a little sassy. You might say angry, but it's probably going to be 7 songs. It might be 6. I'll release that song on a different album if I don't release it on this one, but it'll be about Sunflower. So, you know, in production already, the songs have kind of taken shape in a way that I wasn't expecting. I wrote them all in my living room on my acoustic guitar, and like I said, that's why the singer-songwriter vibe is very much there. But the production is exciting, the way that some of them are taking shape. My hope is to have them all done by my birthday, which will be mid to late July. So I hope to be able to release them by then, have an album release party, and really celebrate just this beginning of a new journey. You know, maybe we'll start on the weekends and play Atlanta and Birmingham and Chattanooga, and maybe a couple spots in Florida, Charlotte, Charleston, you know, just to name a few, Southeast, like I said. But truly want them to be original, you know, music shows, and you know, if things go my way, then maybe I get picked up as support, and you know, we'll see what happens. I want to thank you guys, you know, for listening, for paying attention, for being interested. I know I've been away for a while, and the support that you've shown me recently just really means the world. And I just can't thank you enough. You know, you guys are the reasons or the reason that I do what I do, and I just want to thank you so much. I love y'all, and can't wait to see you again. This song is called Sunflower from the upcoming Sunflower EP. You were a sunflower growing tall towards the sun. I knew when I saw you, you were the one. So I pulled you from your roots to go along with me. But I did not understand at the time, it was never my place to make you mine. So I screamed and yelled, scared to death and you wouldn't see. But you don't belong in a vase up high by yourself in the dark at night with the other wildflowers is where you should be. And sunflower, I hope you find your ground, take root again, and stand up proud and know you'll always have a piece of me. My pride clouding your sunshine, and in hindsight it's just a matter of time, 'cause everyone knows wildflowers don't grow in the shadows. But in the darkness is where I roam. You brought a beauty I've never known, but everyone knows wildflowers don't grow in the shadows. Don't belong in a vase up high by yourself in the dark at night with the other wildflowers is where you should be. Sunflower, I hope you find your ground, take root again, stand up proud and know you'll always have a piece of me. Sunflower, I've had to let you go, but it's my greatest hope that you choose to grow. Be the tallest and the brightest that you can be, and do your best to just forget about me. You don't belong in a vase up high by yourself in the dark at night with the other wildflowers is where you should be. Sunflower, I hope you find your ground, take root again, and stand up proud and know you'll always have a piece of me. Don't belong in a vase up high by yourself in the dark at night with the other wildflowers is where you should be. And sunflower, I hope you find your ground, take root again, and stand up proud and do your best to just forget about me. And do your best, just forget about me, and do your best, just forget about me.
Note to mama,